this. I just really felt like the Lord said, this is where I want you. So I made the move and joined the Mintier team. And it was the best thing I ever did, truly.
So how long were you doing both, restauranting and realtoring?
I was doing some design work too. So I stepped
Oh,
out of the restaurant world, jumped more into my dad's a home builder and carpenter, and kind of partnered up with him and did some work. So I did that for 4 years. I juggled three kids. I had three at the time, three kids, two jobs. Ended up kind of through my testimony turn of events, I had another baby, my daughter Ava. And so suddenly I was a single mom of four
okay.
and had to just figure out how to do life differently. And so that's where I'm at now.
Okay, most people who have four children want a steady paycheck.
hmm
So why didn't you just quit real estate?
Um, I love this job and I knew the Lord wanted me here. And I I just knew this is where I needed to be and where I wanted to be. I love doing this. And there's been plenty of times that I have thought, why am I doing this when I never know how much money I'm going to make? But I feel like it's really, it's my testimony too of just that faith, building that faith muscle of, of just never knowing, right? It's
Sure.
full trust.
Sure.
So,
So here you are about what, like about 4 years ago now,
hmm hmm
partnering with your team.
yeah.
Um, how did that go? How did you start like really going from I don't know if I'm gonna have any paychecks like in real estate to, you know what, I'm gonna be a really successful agent. How did that come about? How did you build it? What did like the previous maybe 3 years look like so that you can bring us to now and tell us what you're doing now that's going
Mhm.
really well?
Um, so 2023, I actually didn't pull my numbers for 2023. It was a good year. I had really my first full year with the team. I had gotten my footing. I was loving it. I was jumping into the systems. We were with Keller Williams at the time on a whole different CRM. We were in something called Keep, and I was just
Mm.
learning how to sort of have an organized real estate business. And so I was obviously starting to perform at a different level. 2024 came. Year started out really good. 2024, I did almost just shy of 8 million. And then kind of my whole life turned over in 24. So went through a pretty significant traumatic loss. We lost my daughter's dad in the summer of 2024. So everything shifted. I went like protecto mode, learning to grieve through a 7-year old, how to work a business through that. And I kind of went into survival a little bit, right? I was taking my daughter everywhere with me. I was just nervous, I guess, for her. And our life looked so different. And so the end of 2024 was, I would say, more in mom land than in real estate land. So 2024 was a good year. I ended with yeah, just shy of 8 million. But I didn't set myself up well for 2025. So 2025 kind of started off, then we changed brokers. We left KW, we went to Real. We changed CRMs, we changed to Berivity. So not only was I like trying to scramble, get my business back together, but I was also learning a whole new platform on how to do real estate. And so 2025 took me a little bit, but once I got back in, I think it was a mindset shift where I really just realized I had to dig in and this is really where the Lord called me to be. And I could do this as an only parent and I could do both. And so it was just really getting down and learning how to run my life differently, to run my business differently. So I did just at 14 million last year, but I did it in like 6 months. So it was really just kicking it into gear, getting in the office every day, putting makeup on, getting up early, just being ready and showing up. And then at the end of 2025, I read a book that really was like a massive game changer. I read The Science of Scaling, and it was
Oh, interesting. Okay.
so good for me. I read it and I listened to it on an audiobook also. because I think I really interpreted it differently. And it was just a game changer. It really stretched my thinking. Every year I have a goal to sell 40 houses. That's what I've had for like the last 4 years. Sell 40, sell 40, sell 40. And it was a big goal. It was a good goal. Um, it was one of those that kept me in a safe land of I didn't have to step too far out of my comfort zone. I could live in a world where I knew how to do my job, but I didn't have to do it at a super high level. I could still be a mom. And I kind of lived in a safe place. And the science of scaling, I actually took a few notes. It forces you to be very intentional and to think really outrageous. So
Mm,
when you think outrageously, it makes you grow to that instead of when you just think at a really even level that's really
mm.
safe. You don't think outrageous. You don't think big. You stay in a really small space because it's comfortable. So, um, and it just framed my business differently. So it forced me to um, make big changes to grow big rather than stay comfortable and just keep doing what's comfortable.
So I want to recap that a little bit before you jump in.
Mhm.
Um, what I heard is, okay, here's what I heard. You can be in real estate X amount of years, guys. For you, it was, 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, whatever. And like have just a really kind of, kind of start here and we kind of do this and we do a little bit of that and then we have a good year and then we have a kind of some things that happen in our life and then we have a good year again, right? Like and time passes, you blink and time will pass, right? So a lot of us are in that boat where, maybe it's been a few years since we've been doing this, right? Um, and you adapted during that time, right? Like this isn't like a one hit wonder. This is not an overnight success. This is something that it took several years to get to that overnight, right? And so
Yeah.
uh, some of the things you changed is what I heard from you is you are now ready mentally. And what I mean by that is you created the environment where you are ready mentally. If you are waking up earlier in the morning, you are more prepared for that day. If you are ready, if your face is on, right, and your head is swiveled on right that morning, like you're going to have a better day. Therefore, you're going to have a better financial year, right?
Yeah.
It sounds like you're really intentional. So you did your 14 million in about 6 months last year because you had to adapt after losing the father of your child.
Mhm.
Um, and you did that. That's a lot of 14 million in a year is a lot. 14 million in 6 months is quite a lot. You started the year off well as
Mhm.
well. So uh, you read the book Science of Scaling.
Yeah.
What does that look like in real life? Like what does your life look like in real life now as an agent who no longer is going to just sell 24 or 40, but your goal for the year is 75?
Yeah. That's my goal for 25.
Okay, walk us through like what life has to look like. What does life look like? What's happening to create
Uh, well, I have 4 kids. Two are in college. So I've got one in Oklahoma, one at Tarleton, a seventh grader, and then a third grader. So I go in a lot of different directions. I juggle a lot of hats, which I've always been good at that. I think that's just part of like a God gift, right? Of just being able to juggle well. I'm sitting in my kitchen. I just did school drop off. So I think what's changed now is that I took ownership. And I'm gonna, it's like, okay, I got to stop the excuse making. And do I want to be super, super successful? Do I want to be all that I was created to be? Or do I just want to do good? And enjoy it. I was enjoying it. I've enjoyed every bit of the last 8 years of real estate. I absolutely love this job, but I lived in more the world of wonder. Am I going to have enough? Where's the business coming from? Am I hustling? Should I do this? Shouldn't I? So I just became very intentional. So intentional about, I had to also be intentional about my life, setting my kids up for success. I make lunches the night before, go to bed earlier. I don't drink during the weekdays. Um, Meal prepping, little things that have made me successful that then bleed into my business so that I'm at the office by 9 a.m., ready to go, have my coffee, jump into the day in the life. I already know where to go. So I've set myself up. I added my calendar to my Apple CarPlay, which I never thought would be huge, but it keeps me on schedule. It's literally telling me what's next. So you can't miss. So I've, mapped out my day. So I know exactly where I'm going and what time I'm doing and what time my calls are. I'm very intentional about calling. Um, I'm good on the phone. I can talk to people. I can convert calls. So why am I not doing that? Digging into my database. For my database, 1 in 15 people are going to buy this year. That's huge.
Okay.
There's so much money in my database. So
How'd
why?
you come up with that number? How do you know it's 1 in 15?
It's a formula, and I'd have to ask Alicia, and I did the math. It's a conversion with how many people are in your database.
Okay.
And so that's the formula that we came up with. So, I mean, there's just so much gold in the people that we know, love, and trust.
So right now, like the people in your database, where did they come from? Like,
A
how did
lot of
you
school,
build
a
it?
lot of school, a lot
Okay,
of
so your
sports.
fear. Okay, so
Um, you know, gosh, just life, church, friends of friends, friends of your parents, just everybody that you.
do you tell them that you're going to add them to your database, or like how do you like okay, let's say you're at a soccer thing, right? And you connect with people. Like how do you go from like, oh, I connected with somebody to now they're in my database, now I'm going to call them. Like
I
walk
think
me through that. Is there a process at all in your head about that?
it's a warm up, right? I mean, I just don't go right in for the blow right off the bat. I've always, um, I don't want to be salesy. I want to sell huge, but I don't want to be salesy. I want to be very authentic and loving and show people a true side. Um, and so I think it's just being able to just talk to people and have wonderful conversation, and then it just flows into it, right? Um, House conversations. How far do you live from the school? Oh, do you guys walk? Yeah, we can ride our bike, whatever. So it's like little conversations. How long have you lived there? Do you love this neighborhood? Just little conversations. Oh, what part of town are you guys in? Oh my gosh, whatever. It's just finding ways to relate with people about where they live. And that's what I found is just such a sweet way to bring it back to real estate somehow. Um, so it's just being authentic.
So you've got everybody in your database currently. Um, when you are calling, what does that look like? Are you calling every day? I guess, do you have a routine around this at all?
I have people, my hots, I'm going to call at least, communicate every month with. People that I'm nurturing, I want to, every 60 to 90 days. So I just literally I just went through my entire database. I did it in December, to make sure that I was really buttoned up. Brevity is such a beautiful tool. If we use it and we work it, it tells us exactly what to do. If you're not in the day in the life, dive into it because it's a platform to tell you exactly how to do your business every single day of the week. So I just do recurring tasks. And so I have people set up and then I make good notes. And, even in the task title, I might say, are you ready yet? Did your kid graduate? Did whatever? And I put as much detail. We're waiting till May. Johnny's graduating and going to Texas A&M. And so then I'm going to start that conversation with, hey, I know we're gearing up to graduation. How is that going? I try to make really detailed notes so that every time I call somebody, it's not just, hey, it's Kim. Do you want to buy or sell a house this year? I'm being really super intentional about my conversations. So right now I'm calling people and it's just Happy New Year. How are you? How were the holidays? Looked like you guys had a blast. I try to follow everybody on social media so I can heart everything, try to loop into their algorithm. And then say, what do you got going on this year? What's 2026? And come with value. I think that's super important is to meet people with love and with value.
How big is your database?
I don't
If you
know.
had to guess.
I don't know. I mean, hundreds. I mean, 300. I don't know. I mean, it's always growing. I would say that. I
Okay.
just was talking to my broker last night and she's like, add more, add more. And it's true. that should be the goal is to add, add, add. The more people you have on there, and then it's taking ownership for what we're not doing right. She called me out on it. Kim, I think there's 70 people that I don't have on market reports. Why? I mean, that's a true statistic. If 1 in 15 people are going to buy in my land, those people need to know the value of their home. And so that way, when they're looking at it, it tells me John Smith is looking at his home value. He looked at it 3 hours ago, and then he pulled it up again 20 minutes ago. And you have all of that in front of you. So you can call and say, Hey, John, oh my gosh, you're looking at your home reports. What's going on? Are you just curious, which is great? Or are you thinking of making a move? Are you, and then that opens a conversation. And most of the time people are like, "Oh my gosh, you saw that?" Yes, I am looking. I love this. And so it just starts conversations that you never knew I never would have had that conversation with most people.
Are you
Um,
building your business any other way other than your sphere?
Open houses.
Okay.
I've always loved open houses. I've tried just about everything. I did door knocking. Not for me. I'll say it. Ring doorbells kind of that was a buzzkill for those. Um, Open houses I love to do. I love meeting people. I love talking to people. So my goal is 2 a month minimum. So
Okay.
um, every other weekend, whatever. If I can do two in a day, I do two in a day. Whatever can work for being a mom and being a business owner. So open house, I do that also.
So here's what I'm hearing, guys, as I'm talking to Kim. I'm not hearing that like she is AKA killing herself to try to get these deals. What I am hearing is a lot of intentionality behind doing her calls, behind following up with the people she already has,
Hmm.
behind staying up to date with them through social media, meeting them where they are online and staying relevant to them, and then being really committed to doing consistent open houses, not necessarily a ton of them, like 1 week and then nothing ever. Um, it sounds like you're just running a system and that system is spitting out deals for you because you are running that day in the life every day, Monday through Friday.
Well, and making so open houses are amazing, but they're not. Rarely do we have somebody walk into an open house and go, I don't have an agent and I'd like to buy a house tomorrow. Will you represent us? It's happened. I've had some of
Right.
my best clients who I've followed up with immediately after leaving an open house. And they've said, we'd love to partner with you. And it's like, boom, yes. And so I've had it. But most of the time it's a nurture process. So when you leave an open house, what are you going to do? You're going to text everybody. It was so good, Johnny and Susie, to meet you. And I love that you came in today. I hope you love the house. I would love to be an asset to you and to serve you in this season. And then just follow up with something. And when people leave, I make notes about them. Loved Susie's dress, loved this, whatever, so that I can remember details to then have a conversation about later, right? And then it's plugging them in to Beribity. If you're missing it, you're literally letting your money fly out the window. I'm working a deal right now, 600,000 buyer that I met at an open house literally a year ago. And they live in Alabama. I even put their Alabama address in, so they're getting market reports on what their home's worth in Alabama. Then I have them on listing alerts for their DFW home, and I call her every 30 days because I know they're going to be buying soonish. Um, and she just said the other day, we're buying with you because you didn't give up. You're the only one that stayed in front of us. And they went to a ton of open houses.
Oh, I bet.
So it's just being really intentional. And it's not that every season has been, I think that's the part of my story that I think is the most important. I've had hard seasons. I've had seasons where open houses haven't been as great. I've had seasons where I've had to pivot and be different. You wake up in the night and your kid's puking or has a high fever and you have to pivot. That's everyday life. I have a hard stop every day at 3 o'clock. I leave the office. Now, there's days that I get help. I have showings, I have a meeting, I have something that came up, and I have a network. But for the most part, I want to be a present parent. So I had to figure out, what do I have to do differently to be a mom, to be a single mom, an only mom, ball out and make killer money like I want to do, be super successful and stay sane and have a beautiful life. And so it was really a mind shift of, what do I have to do to have all of that and still have time for me and do all the things. So, you have to be real with yourself and be really honest. And then when you have hard days and you didn't give, I just listened to a teaching yesterday about the 12-week year, which was great. And it was saying we're never going to be 100%. We're not perfect. We want to live in a world of 65 to 85%. And then you pivot. So you give yourself grace on days that it didn't hit. And then you have days that you're like, this was it. I totally nailed it today. And then some days you leave your kids in the car with a phone while you're doing showings. It's like you pivot. So, um, yeah. So
Well,
those,
I'm really curious, Kim, as we're wrapping up, uh, how are you going to go from doing 24 units, which is awesome last year, to now doing 75? What's the game plan here?
um,
Do we have one?
yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So it's like, where do I start? Okay. And I know we're wrapping up. So, being intentional about how I start my day every single day of the week. So I'm up at
Okay.
5, which means I
Okay.
go to bed earlier the night before, right? I'm in bed by 10. I'm up by 5. I'm in the gym at 5:30. Because if I'm not healthy, how can I have a healthy life? So health and wellness has to be at the top. Like I said, cut drinking out during the week. That glass of wine while I'm making dinner, nix that, because it changes how my night ends and then how my day ends. Or I'm sorry, how my day starts. And then knowing what I'm going to do. So taking time on Sundays to plan out your week, looking at your meetings, looking at what your goals are for that week. Put your goals in Berivity. That was a big thing because it'll tell you how many dials you need to make. If you map out, I want to sell X amount of homes, put all of your goals in, or if you have just a dollar amount that you want to sell, I want to sell 20 million or whatever, it's going to tell you, it's going to break down the formula of how many then dials you need to make, how many, so on and so forth, how many appointments you need to set, how many, so that I keep up with that. I want to make 50 to 100 dials a day
In your brevity?
in my brevity. Yes. So I put the dialer on a lot. If I'm in sort of our pond, then I put the dialer on so I can just kind of blaze through them. And it's just Happy New Year. How are you? Right? It's just easy, easy calls. Thank you for taking my call. If people are like, I'm so good, I'm so glad you love your house. How can we want to just be an asset to you. What are you guys thinking about cleaning out gutters? How's your yard look? How about leaves? How about windows? How can we be an asset to people also? Um, and so not, and then 10 contacts a day. If I'm connecting with 10 people, then I'm going to be able to turn around and book appointments. I want to be able to book 3 appointments a week to meet my goals.
So 3 appointments a week, 10 contacts a day. We're going to change our life.
Yes, you're going to
It's
sell
that
75,
simple.
75 homes this year. I've already
How
done.
can people stay in contact with you, Kim? Like, are you on Instagram? Are you on Facebook? Can you put that in the chat so we can follow you? Can you put your cell phone number in the chat so we can keep up with you?
Mhm.
Because listen, 24 is a lot. 50 is a lot. 75, and I looked up your price point. I mean, you're not doing 75 at 100,000. Your average price point, according to homes.com is like 583. So congrats.
Thank
It's
you.
a very, very, like, it's a very intentional business is what I'm saying, right? Because not every home in the DFW area is 583. So it is an intentional business that you've built, and I'm super, super excited for you. So we want to keep up with you. Everything I heard about you is A, you're a very normal person. B, you're a very intentional person right now. And that intentionality is creating your reality. right?
Hmm.
Like it now, is it built on a foundation of faith? Is it built on a foundation of, of being a family woman? Like you've got 4 kids, you got a lot going on. Um, and yet like your intentionality through it all is creating the reality that you see today. And it's really awesome to see. It's something
I
that can be duplicatable.
Yeah. Honestly, I was shocked that I was asked because I was like, I'm just like a regular mom. Like that's it. Why am I being interviewed? I think I had a great business, but I watch people on here. They're like, did 200 units last year, and and I'm like, wow. And you listen to those people, and you're like, you're amazing. Wow. 200. Holy cow. So what I would love to end with for me is that I'm normal. This is attainable life. I think it's mind shifts. I think there's a spiritual side for me, which I will talk to anybody about, of just of that world of connecting with heaven, I think, over this. And then just showing up every day, knowing what I'm capable of doing and partnering with the right people. Like taking ownership over your business. Quit making excuses and saying, yep, not my finest moment. Yesterday wasn't my finest day. And then being determined that today I'm going to bring 85, right? I'm going to do it because why? Be emotionally involved in your why. Why are you doing this? I'm creating a beautiful life for my children and for myself. I want to do things for me. Um, and I know I'm capable of doing it. So that's it. That's what
I
I'm
love it. I love it. Normal is good, right? Like we all love the fanciness of what we do sometimes, and yet our day to day is not that. Our day to day is a very normal year, and you can build a really great career on just being normal.
just
Will
being
you
normal.
pop in your contact information into chat so that we can keep up with you, so I can send it out so that everybody has it? And it's really exciting to see someone take just the regular have very regular years, and then something shifts, right? All of us can have that shift moment where we want to do more than we have, and so I love and appreciate you for sharing your story this morning. And guys, next week we
Okay. Now
have, yeah, that's awesome. Thank you so much. Next week we have another guest, and where Kim has built hers on a lot of sphere business, a lot of open house business. I want you to be able, guys, to see how everyone builds their business differently, and what they all have in common is they're all running those playbooks, right? Kim's running her day in the life playbook every morning, and she is intentional about it, right? Next week, we've got Oliver, and he's intentional about his expired and withdrawn campaigns, right? So every week, like, I want you to be inspired by a certain aspect of your business and then just go and do it. So excited to see everybody next week. Kim, thank you so much for giving us your time to
it
speak.
was truly, this was an honor. This was like the shock of my, I had to like have a mindset like, no, they really want you for that because you're doing a good job. So
You are doing a good job. You're
everybody's
doing an
doing a good
amazing
job though,
job.
right? We're here, we're showing up. This is a huge step. So thank you. What
I
an
love it. I love it. Thank you, Kim. We'll see everybody next week. You guys rock. Have a good rest of your week, guys. We'll see you later.
thank you. Bye everyone.
Bye.
Thank you, Kim.